Hello, this is Batman. The following show is intended for mature audiences only. If you're under 18 and watching this, well, we're sorry that you have shitty parents.
What's up, YouTube, Facebook, wherever the fuck you're watching High Jynx TV from? It's your friendly local neighborhood dick NutButt here, and I'm getting ready for a super special celebrity interview! Live from the Clinton Street Theater in Portland, Oregon, we've got Season 2, Episode I Don't Know, with Andy Koontz of Ekimmu, the Deadlust. Let's get it. Recording? That's recording. We're almost to Portland. There's Sammie. Sammie's gonna hold the camera. She's driving us. We're almost there. Alright, Dick NutButt here with Andy Koontz from Ekimmu, the Deadlust movie. Fucking amazing movie from the start to finish. What really started to captivate me was the score, honestly, was the music and that opening line.
The dream line?
Yeah. I just, with just the not really having any, the flashings, the different flashings of the imagery and stuff, rather than having, like, say, a character opening. It really set the tone for the whole movie.
That was the plan, but none of it really was.
It really works. So the first question was, how did you come up with a story for Ekimmu the Deadlust?
Well, I'm a big X-Files fan, and there's an episode called Bad Blood, I think in 5th season, and I was looking for something new. I was into zombies and I wanted to do something that was more, I guess, like about vampires. And Mulder said this line, he's talking about all these different vampire legends and mentions Ekimmu. And I was like, I'm going to find out what that means. And when I found out, I had a story I had written, so I was like, well, let's just put that together with that somehow. And it's been cool. I don't know, I didn't really have a big, deep reason, just, I don't know, old, ancient vampire legend,
Nice. Yeah, I remember that episode too, and that's when after I got done watching the movie, that's when I was like, alright, what's Ekimmu mean? Because I didn't know if it was just something that you came up with, or
yeah, it was just I had a story, and I had these two girls that get like revenge on this guy that killed them, and it all kind of became different after I got sick, but
yeah.
It was about, basically it started with that, and Ekimmu things kind of fell into place, and like, that's cool, that works with it, and I don't know, just gave it a more supernatural kind of tone than it would have otherwise.
Yeah.
Because at first it wasn't meant to be like that supernatural, but kind of grew from there. That was back in 2002 when I was writing it. Watched a lot of movies while I was writing it.
She goes, actually, yeah, that was one of the next questions. What films or TV shows or anything that you were watching inspired you while you were...
X-Files, the original, George Romero, Dawn of the Dead, Evil Dead, Tommy, stuff like that. I don't know. I watched so many movies. Cronenberg's Rabid, a lot of low-budget first films people have made. Mulholland Drive was a huge one. Like, just the dysfunction of that whole movie and the kind of the linear story with a with a metaphor in it was like really cool to me, and so I was like, I want to do something kind of like that, where it can have a straight story, but also have something a little more meaning. Like for the whole movie has a lot of meaning for me personally. There's like a lot of injected stuff that's probably I'm the only one that really get it, you know. But I don't know. The final edit, like I said, came from Natural Born Killers. The style of that, the way he shot it on multiple like formats and stuff. Just I like the look, and I was like, I want something kind of along the lines of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a limited budget, and I was like, I'm just gonna shoot it in many different ways as I could. I had one camera though, so just a lot of it was editing.
Yeah. You can do a lot with editing, and you did a wonderful job of editing.
all most of it's like just post editing.
Yeah.
Coming back to it, you know, what 8-9 years later, something like that, to edit it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's one of the feels that I got when I was watching it, was like watching the original Dawn of the Dead. Like back then, like I could definitely see that movie being,
Love that movie.
Yeah,
It's a great movie.
definitely see it being played on sci-fi. Like it's
Well, that'd be awesome. I'd love that.
All right,
Bring it.
So, what were your favorite movies when you were growing up?
Well, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Pretty much it. I mean, when I was a kid, that was my life. I got all the movies and put them on one VHS cassette, and I would watch them over and over and over and play, you know, with my action figures and stuff. And that's really it. I mean, Star Wars was everything to me when I was a kid. Can't really think of many other movies, to be honest.
So, how did you feel about the newest one that came out? You feel it was
It's okay. It wasn't bad. Visually, it's neat.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams. It's awesome in that way, you know. But I don't know. It wasn't really like Star Wars to me, like that. Like that new Battlefront game that's out, Star Wars Battlefront. It's not really Star Wars, but it's got all. It's Star Wars look, sound, all that. But it's not really Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie.
I personally still have to watch it, but I read the synopsis for it, and it sounded like A New Hope with different characters.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
I still want to watch it because it's still.
Yeah, oh yeah, we own it. It's great. You know, it's cool. It's Star Wars, you know.
Oh yeah.
Can't go wrong with Star Wars.
Right?
Can't go wrong with lightsabers and laser blasters, you know.
Nope. All right. So, when did you realize that you wanted to get into filmmaking?
When I get into
Or
filmmaking,
what maybe inspired you to get into filmmaking?
I just kind of always had. When I was a little kid, I always played around with my mom's cameras and, you know, being told don't do that, you know, and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know. Making the movie was all the little shorts and everything I've made. It's just kind of been little imaginations I've had that I've kind of carried into like, well, I'm gonna do this, you know, and find a way to make it happen. And I've always liked makeup, stuff like that. So, you know, makeup effects, things like that were always fun to do. And it's just kind of something I wanted to do. Figured it was a challenge, why not, you know?
Yeah. The makeup effects and effects that were done in Ekimmu, it was great. When Eli went into the forest and shot himself, the blood splatter on his, it was disgusting.
Which is funny because that blood splatter on the bottle, that was all my actors standing around spitting blood on the bottle. Because I was like, how am I going to do this, you know? It's like, okay, guys, you're all getting a mouthful of blood, and when I say go, you're going to spit on the bottle. And we did like 2 takes of it, and like, perfect.
It did not look like that at all.
Isn't that funny,
Behind
though?
the scenes.
We had to find so many little ways to do effects like that, because I was just making it happen, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to find any way I could to make it work, and I was like, spit on the bottle.
That's great. All right, so who are 3 of your favorite film directors and why?
That's hard. I mean, I love Dario Argento, just because, but I love Alfred Hitchcock, and he's kind of like Alfred Hitchcock of Italian horror. So, George Romero, why? Because he's awesome. I don't know. He's just awesome.
You don't really need a better reason than that.
No, he's just awesome. Every movie he makes, every single movie, I own every movie that guy's made, and I love all of them. They're all great in different ways. Even his earlier films he did, like Season of the Witch and stuff like that, they're all just kind of fun little movies. There's nothing particular. I don't know, he has this atmosphere he gets in his movies that is like no one else. You know?
Yeah.
No one else at all. They're just awesome. You know, they have a mood and a tone, and I don't know. That's the kind of movies I like. I like tone.
Yeah.
Movies that carry a tone, and they're not too serious. They know how to have a little bit of fun, but even like Mulholland Drive is super serious and intense, but it's got this fun element in it where you have to think about it. So it's like Lynch is that way. I know I like Lynch, Cronenberg, Romero, Argento, Fulci was great. You know, I don't know. I have a billion directors. I think directors are kind of that's what I look for in movies. I really look at the director first, and if I like the director, I'll probably like the movie.
All right.
So
that's one thing that I really liked about Ekimmu was I couldn't pinpoint exactly why I liked it. I had a bunch of reasons why I liked it, but I couldn't pinpoint one reason. And I think that's really makes a good movie. If you can't pinpoint one thing about it, then that's a really good movie. Like, you can be like, okay, it was really cool because of the cinematics. What else? Just cinematics?
well, it was. I mean, the thing with Ekimmu is that it's got little subtle hints to all these movies I like.
Yeah.
Like little all throughout it. There's even a Dumb and Dumber one in there somewhere. You know, where it's all like that the whole way through. I'm a movie fan. I love movies. I don't just like horror movies either. I like all movies. One of my favorite movies is a movie called Somewhere in Time. It's a romance movie from the 70s. It's Christopher Reeve, and it's a time travel movie. And there's little bits of that even in Ekimmu. You know, like there's a scene in Ekimmu that is from our relationship. You know, the scene where he gives her the necklace. It's exactly something that her and I did. You know, so and my wife and I did. So it's like I tried to put anything in that mattered to me like that, movies or otherwise. You know, so there's a lot of little influential bits and pieces that went into from other movies. Lots and lots. So.
Yeah, you could tell that there was a lot of love put into the movie, and a lot of time spent on it. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me watch it again.
Definitely. I'm glad you got to.
All right.
You don't work on something that hard for that long to not show it. You know?
Right. Okay, those are all of those. All right, so for movies for actually question-based, so how did the cast and crew come together for the movie?
The internet. All the internet. Entirely the internet. I mean,
it's not that bad.
It was, no, it's not actually. The internet's been very good to me. I mean, that's how I met you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I met a lot of other people through Twitter, but not just that. It's just being able to get online and go to casting agencies and look people up. And like Schlo, the actress that played Beth, she showed up last minute. The actor I had cast for that part bailed, and she just called me, saw on a casting agency post or something on one of their websites, and she came by my house, said I'll do this, and okay, cool, I need someone. We were desperate because we were about to start shooting. I needed someone to play her part. I don't know, all through the internet, people finding out online. I mean, honestly, I don't think I would have found people otherwise. So, pretty cool.
You know what? I'm gonna ask you one of these questions, and then we'll go back to those. So what are some of the things that you had to overcome from your injury during the production of the film?
Well, there's a long list.
I knew that was going to be wasn't going to be an easy question.
As to what? Where do I start with that? Oh, wow. I had to learn to walk again. I was in bed for 3 straight years, so it was difficult. And when we'd go for chemo a full weekend, be in the hospital for a full weekend. She'd be with me the whole time, and it was arduous, tedious, and oftentimes they were, yelling for nurses for more of this or that. Do you have a pain medicine I can actually take that won't make me hallucinate? Something like that. So, the big thing is the brain injury I got from the surgery and stuff, the swelling and stuff. Just coming back to this and knowing how I was going to put it together, it was like a puzzle, and I had no clue, so it was like starting all over again. As far as hurdles, learning to walk again, which I It's a lot better. I'm still kind of in physical therapy. I was a guitarist, so I'm in occupational therapy for that. Actually, I'm going to start it. My occupational therapist left town, and apparently is coming back now, and so I wasn't able to stick with that, but that's my next goal. So I'm still kind of, honestly, I'd say I'm 10 years out, but I just feel like now I'm just starting to get back to myself, you know? So, lots of hurdles, dude. A lot. Can't even really talk about all of them. You'd have to set up a whole separate interview just for that.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that you did pull through it.
Thank you.
This was able to come out and we're able to have this.
Oh yes. This is what it's all about, you know?
Yeah.
That's what the whole movie is about to me. It's about, I want people to understand that you can finish something.
Yeah.
That their dreams don't have to die just because, you know, something big happens. You know, don't give up. Never give up. You know, hurdle or otherwise, there's a way. You know.
So another movie question was when Mike and maybe he did explain it to their full extent. Maybe I just didn't understand. But when they went out to the field at the end, and he was like, "All right, come with me and I'll tell you."
Mm-hmm.
Why did he just read a passage from the book rather than tell him what was going on?
Well, there's a lot behind that little scene. How do I explain this? We had shot, so the script had a wholly different scene I wrote in it. It was kind of complicated, and for a little movie, it was probably a little bit bigger than I had really the capability of doing, and the actors, the experience and things like that, just pulling that off and really making it what I wanted. So we shot it in like 2 or 3 different locations at first. That field was in the front of this property where I'd asked, it was for sale in my hometown where we shot it, and we called the realtor, asked him if he could let us use the property for the day, and so we were going to shoot in this little field in the back. They had a barn. The field didn't work. We decided we were going to shoot it in the barn didn't work, and the sun was going down. I knew we only had so much time to shoot, so I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out to that field, you're going to walk up to camera, and you're going to read the journal, and we're going to leave this completely ambiguous and not answer it, and that's what we ended up with. So that's what I had.
Okay.
And it works still. I mean, there are other pieces to the movie, and we're putting a lot of deleted scenes on the disc when it comes out, hopefully, to kind of fill in some of that stuff a little bit. But I made sure that there was no like real hole. So if you really watch it, it's there.
Yeah.
It might take a little work, and maybe that's kind of not the nicest thing for me to do with people, because I do have footage that would explain
That's
it.
perfect, because then it makes people want to watch it over.
Yeah, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, the real answer as to why is because I think in my the original story, Steven was kind of using Mike to follow him around to find out what happens, you know.
Okay.
And, you know, that's kind of was the idea, and you don't really get that from this cut quite the same way, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. There's a lot of dual stuff like that in it, where like the characters are good at times and bad at times, and they have multiple reasons for why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not too straightforward like that.
Yeah, I could kind of tell from at the beginning when Hank and Steven are in there and he tells him to drop, and he's like, no, I'm not going to, and then he's following this guy. I was like, okay.
Well, the idea is that Steven's looking for his daughter. You know, he's trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
And so in one way, he's a good father, trying to be loving his daughter, but in another way, he's also kind of using Mike to find her, in a sense. So, but I mean, again, a lot of that is kind of my brain now.
And now,
so like a lot of the editing kind of feels a lot like my brain feels a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of displaced and fragmented like that. So I don't know. I think that it's funny because recently I was watching it and I noticed that, like, man, this really is like how my brain works now. It's like fast and frantic, and you know, the switching channels thing, you know, constant, nothing really staying where it belongs, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of like memory lapse problems where I'll shift subjects for no reason. You probably have noticed that already. Maybe. I don't know.
Actually, not really.
Okay, well, that's good. I do it a lot. I'll be talking to someone who just like totally get lost. And like, What was I saying? What were we talking about?
And I do that too, so maybe it did, and maybe I did the same thing. With such a small budget of just $7,000 to do this, what type of struggles did you find that maybe you wouldn't have had if you had a larger budget? Like even another $3,000, what difference would that have made?
Whoa, that's kind of, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like, I don't think it really would have made that big of a difference. Being that it was my first movie and I was shooting it and directing it and doing everything else. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would have provided better craft service stuff to people. But food, maybe maybe I would have had, I don't know. I kind of like the fact I didn't storyboard it, but I could see how some of it, if I had it, might have made it a little easier. Having the money to pay an artist to do some of the, like that backstory video I was telling you about, I want to do, things like that. But might have relieved a little stress just knowing if something doesn't work out when I do it, I could pay someone outright to just do it. You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really don't think it would have made a ton of difference in the actual final product, though.
Yeah.
What I have was just me figuring out stuff, as I went, especially in the editing. Like, there was a lot of pixelization and noise in the image that it took years to figure out, literally years, to figure out just how to get that out. So I've tried to get the image looking the best I possibly could. And it was just like this battle. Like, nope, I don't like that. Nope, I don't like that. And we'd render it. I think I have like 50 Blu-rays at home because we had to render it down, make a Blu-ray just to watch it because my computer just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think more money necessarily would have made it a better movie at all.
I think it was perfect, and it doesn't, like, I know it's a low budget indie movie, but it doesn't look like it. Like,
Thank you.
It does look like it was a bigger budget production. So
Well, I'm glad for that because I put a lot of time into that and the audio.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of experience with the audio, so it wasn't that was a little bit more just being creative with the audio. But the image, I was just in the dark. I had no clue what to do or how to get things like the black and white stuff. Took me a long time to figure out how to get looking that high contrast and still have the image look solid.
That was one of my favorite scenes, was where it was cutting back and forth from the color to the black and white. Just I can't really explain why it was one of my favorite scenes, but just seeing it slowly.
Yeah, all of that stuff was some stuff we did in like the last few weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks. So I mean, it was like, oh, we need that here.
Nice.
So it's seriously, I was working on this creatively until like the last, I don't know, a month ago. Trying to just get exactly what I wanted. And it's funny because I didn't think after I was done back in 2004 when we first shot our stuff, I didn't think I'd get this looking anywhere like I thought that I got. But it looks so close to what I actually planned.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be some animation in it that I never got to. Just I'm not an artist like that.
Yeah.
But I was hoping to get some animation, but never did. But it other than that, it's almost exactly spot on with the look I wanted for it.
Nice.
So,
I just love the look of it.
very happy about that.
Like I said, I can't pinpoint one exact thing that I liked about it. The directing of it, the production of it, the storyline. Even though it left me like, what the hell? But it made me, I want to watch this again and again and again.
Well, that's it. That was the idea. I was hoping people would do that.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping when it was over they'd want to watch it again and again and again. I had a couple people tell me that. No, so that's good.
I think it's going to be
That's great.
general consensus there.
Cool.
All right, so
What else you got?
I went too far back. I got too many papers here.
I was reading through them on the way here.
There they are. Okay. So, did the injury affect the overall outcome of the movie? And like, did you decide to change anything afterwards?
Yeah, changed a lot afterwards. The whole story. I mean, the whole story of the movie is there, but the flow of it is completely different. Like I said, after a brain injury, I totally had spaced and forgotten. My brain just didn't remember what I was supposed to do with it. So I had to sit and watch the footage and kind of, okay, I remember this, kind of remember that, and started putting it together in pieces like a puzzle, just little pieces here. And then after I had like probably 4 or 5 scenes kind of in place, it was like, well, I could do this here, I could throw this here. Would this work here? And I'd ask her, like, will this work in this spot? And we'd watch it and like, no, gotta move that somewhere else. So we'd take that piece and move it to another spot. And it was like that the whole way through. And like the way it ends is totally different. We shot like 2 or 3 endings. And in this version, there's 2 of the endings I shot, but they don't feel like endings.
Yeah.
We shot another one, and that's going to be a deleted scene because it does explain a lot more of the story.
Okay.
But I don't know. The movie just changed. Everything changed about it. You know, when I was in chemo, the whole Dead Lust thing. That's where I came up with that, the Queen Demon character. So that changed the story drastically. Without that, it doesn't have that dark kind of. The Queen Demon kind of was like the darkness of my chemo and radiation and stuff I was going through. And I don't know, it was like on my mind all the time. You start this project and you don't want to see it just die. And I just worked on it in my head. And so when I sat down to edit, I had a little bit of it. I understood the basics, and reading the script again helped me to kind of get back on it. But I don't know. I think after a brain injury, it's just the same thing, at all. So.
I love the Queen Demon. After I watched it like, I think I started at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and right after I got done with it, I started walking to the coffee shop, and right across the street from where I live, there's bushes, and I swear to Christ, I walked out the door and there was something staring at me, and something following me in the bushes the entire way. I had my headphones in. I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my music all the way up, and this isn't gonna bother me. I'll just forget about it. And I was like, nope, I can't. I gotta hear it. It sounds like something's following me. But that Queen Demon scene just scared the shit out of me.
My oncologist, she works at. I was treated at Children's Hospital, Dornbecker's Children's Hospital. That's where I got put because they did. Oh, there goes an alarm. I was treated at Dornbecker's Children's Hospital, and my oncologist, she just said she'd come and see it, and she works with kids most of the time. Just that Queen Demon scared her to death, and her friend came with her and left her a phone message afterwards saying, "God, the forest, God, the forest," because that Queen, she hated that Queen Demon character so bad.
That's when I was doing the review. I had to. Originally, it was just all video, and I just leaned in really close, so it was just like my eyes, and then I was like, no, that looks better just black, just look. And I had the music on behind. I was like, no, I'm just gonna cut all the music out. And that was just going through my head.
I did a cut. I made a cut without the dialogue track, just the music. It's crazy. It makes the movie so much more intense. Like her part on a big screen, she's like frightening. Even to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I watched on the smaller screen first, because that it already did. It was like right there on the nightmare level, and a big screen that definitely I would have been pissing my sheets every night.
We did all of her makeup. So her that was while I was in recovery. I thought her up in chemo, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot her in we built a set in the back bedroom of our house in a corner. And I was like, gotta make it. It's all paper mache stuff we did. And I met Nina. She's a German model, and she looks nothing like that at all. Trust me. But she did makeup in one night, all full body makeup, and did all of her lines. Like, this closed room, hot, just totally hot as hell, and just miserable in there and sweating. And she did she did 17 pieces, and we only used like 6 of them, I think, and then a few other little parts. But did her makeup. It's all in like 2011, all during recovery. Wasn't even in remission yet, and I was like, I gotta do this. I want a monster in my movie of some kind. I was like, I'm gonna make one. And so I was like, that's where the Dead Lust thing came from, and this demon who's kind of orchestrating all this stuff, and she's like thriving on it and happy, and she's kind of the source of where all that stuff comes from. So she was fun to do. She's probably my favorite character, probably because I did it when I was sick, and it's like, how cool is that? You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool thing to say.
Yeah. And it was perfectly cut in too, so like it seemed like an intermission, but not between the different scenes.
Yeah.
So
well, she kind of became. I mean, I had planned for her to be like a buffer between things like that, but I also wanted a narrator in it, which is strange, but the idea from it came from Dune, the princess character at the beginning. That's the opening of the movie, and I don't know. After that, I was like, I could do something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So again, you know, David Lynch. You know.
So does that alarm mean that we're cutting close on time, or? Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
I think we're fine.
All right. So, how was the process of finding locations to shoot Ekimmu?
I love my hometown, Colton, Oregon. I don't live there. I live just outside of it in Beaver Creek. But I was like, I'm gonna shoot this in my hometown. Because when I was a kid, I used to play in the forest a lot, and I was like, I'm going to shoot in the forest in Colton and just play in the forest like I do when I was a kid. And I went there and just went up to people's houses and said, can I shoot on your property? Like I would have when I was a kid. I was like, can I play on your property, you know, whatever. And I was like, can I go do this? Some people were fine with it. Some people didn't like the idea of shooting a horror movie there. And you know, some of them were like excited. The gas station we shot at is about maybe 2 football fields away from my house where I grew up. Like the scene where the Eli scene at the beginning, it was about maybe 100 yards from my house. So it was like that road we shot on was all like where I rode my bike as a kid, played in the forest. All those forests were places I played as a kid and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm gonna shoot here. And if people were cool with it, then great. And most of them were. I would just ask people. The guy at the gas station, we part of kind of our family knew him growing up, and my father passed away from stomach cancer when I was 15. So we grew up my whole life knowing all these people. It's a very small town. So I don't know, they seemed eager to help out. It was pretty easy, you know. Just ask people. You know. I didn't have to pay anybody. It was just like, sure. You know, we made this little brochure up with all the actors and handed it out to people and said we wanted to support this, and it all worked. So it worked out really nicely. I love all the locations we got.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, I think if it was shot somewhere else. Actually, I think with the story and if it still looked the same, the location didn't matter. But it did give a really good feel to the.
Well, Colton does have. If you ever, I mean, it's not that far. I'm not saying you should go through it, but if you do ever, it's a very particular town like that. It has a very specific look. It's not like other places. It's really not. It's Oregon, but it has this rusticness. It's just different than some of the other places I've been. So, I don't know. I have a certain love for it because I grew up. You know.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what happened to the children at the beginning that Hank had mentioned? He said we've all lost children.
Well, that's in reference to Eli.
Okay.
It's complicated backstory with Eli, but essentially Eli shows up in this town and has kind of started dabbling in the occult, and he's under this like idea that somehow the devil is going to give him some power, that some kind of power, and it doesn't turn out that way. So he thinks he's killing people for this demon, for the queen demon, basically. He thinks he's killing all these people for the queen demon, and she's going to reward him somehow, and she ends up kind of tricking him, and she kills him. So essentially Eli is the source of all of those things. So what happens is Eli kills all the children.
Okay.
Under the control of this demon.
All right.
So.
And I guess that was the second part of that same scene with talking about.
Yeah.
So what was the pact? What was the pact that they did? Because I tried to pause it so I could read it, but I couldn't. I had horrible eyes.
Well, the idea is that the town essentially makes this pledge to Hank. Hank convinces the town that he can find all their because their children missing. They don't know where their bodies are or anything like that. And Hank convinces the town that if they trust him and sign this pact to give up their souls, essentially, that the devil will show them where the bodies of these dead kids are. Okay. And again, it's a trick, and it ends up turning Mary and Sarah, or Beth and Sarah, into these creatures. Like they're like almost like puppets of the Queen Demon in a way, where she uses them to trick people into believing that they're people.
Okay.
You know, like Mike, the whole thing with Mike and Beth, stuff like that. So that was the idea that I don't know. That was the idea. It's hard again because it's like I wrote that back in 2002, so it's like what I remember. You know, it's all what I remember. How I see it now.
Yeah, and having watched the film, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You remember what's going on.
Yeah, it's there. It's all that. Like I said, I made sure when I started cutting it down that I didn't cut anything out.
Yeah.
All the essential story bits and pieces are there. Just gotta watch it a bunch.
And then watch it again.
And I think the supplemental stuff we have coming too will help that out too. I think the idea when we made it was when I wrote it, I wanted it to be a kind of a multimedia type of thing where it was like could be a book, a comic book, a video, or a movie, and all these things would kind of work together to tell a bigger story as it went. So
I could definitely see that, like
it wasn't
like a graphic novel.
Yeah, I think. Well, that was the other thing. I had wanted originally. I had wanted it to be like a graphic novel or a cartoon, even like an animated feature, but like for adults, you know, animated feature. But I was like, that was way out of my scope, so I just wanted, you know, this is what I did. I wanted to make a movie of it. But that's what I mean by I wanted animation in also.
Yeah. I could definitely see more.
Yeah.
And the movie leaves you with wanting to see more.
Yeah, well, I think, honestly, it would have worked really well. I mean, I had enough that I could have made it into like a trilogy even.
Yeah.
A 3-part thing. So I would have started the first one with backstory, and this one would be kind of the story. And the third one would have very, very different, a little bit more of a heroic kind of ending, because I wanted something a little bit more redemptive out of it. But again, what I came up with, what we ended up with at the end was the result of, you know, 14 years, you know, me writing and working on this for that long, you know. I like what I have. I actually think what I have is better than what I originally had, so I'm really happy with what I have now.
I know that I would watch it over and over and over and over.
Well, maybe one day I'll remake it into a longer movie and you'll get to see all the other stuff. That would.
I would. I remember you said something about the first that was like 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5. I would have sat there for it.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, the deleted scenes kind of fill in some of that stuff. So I'm honestly, there's like 5 or 6 deleted scenes we're gonna put on, then a little backstory thing we're gonna do, and have a soundtrack. And on the first track, it's like a continuous play soundtrack, so it's like perfect like background, like on Halloween or something.
Yeah. Really
moody. But the Queen Demon does a narration of an intro, like 5 minutes long, of just telling the whole story of the town and what happened. So that'll be up on iTunes and a bunch of other places here in the next week or two.
Nice.
So
look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got a couple more questions. So at any time during the recovery, did you ever think about stopping production?
Oh yeah.
And like what?
She had to hide so we had all this footage on these, you know, DV tapes. It was shot on DV tape, 24p DV tape, and there were times where I wanted to burn it. I wanted to put it in a barrel and just burn the whole thing. I didn't want to finish it at all. And I was like, man, after all this I've been through, why am I bothering with this little tiny movie? And, you know, freaking out. She had to hide the box of tapes from me. We had all the audio rendered down onto CD discs, which didn't go to the greatest sounding audio. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to put all this together. You know, we had like, I think I shot 128 tapes. And I was like, get all these CDs. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to put all this together. It's so insurmountable that I just wanted to destroy it, move on. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And she would hide it from me and make sure I finished it. You know, and she'd always like, this is valuable. Someone's going to like this. And I'm like, I don't know if it's worth all this. You know, I have brain injury now. It's like hard to see yourself or hard to see the project after that. But yeah, I didn't want to do it at first. at all. You know, I was kind of scared. I mean, it's funny because even after I shot that clean demon part, I still didn't really want to. I was like, I don't know. I mean, and people would be like, we put so much work into it, shot all this stuff, and like, just couldn't see it. You know, just can't see it. I was like, it was like a very dark time for me to do that. And like I said, I battled this. I had a bad computer, and nothing never seemed to render properly because of my brain injury. There'd be little pieces. I'd render it and be like, oh, I forgot that. And I'd go back and do it again. Oh, I forgot that. You know, every render there'd be a problem. You know, even up till recently, even the cut you saw, there might have been a problem. I noticed just recently. We just fixed. You know, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't catch that. So it's like, that's the biggest challenge. Like, I don't think I'm going to do this. You know, I just missed so many things. But I'm glad I pushed through and did it. But man, there were some times where I was just like, screw this. I'm not doing this. You know, I'm not doing this anymore. And even up until like a month ago, I was like, I am not doing this. And I'd be like, come on, this movie makes me insane. You know, I'm not doing this. But I mean, I always end up going back to it and working on it. Just like kind of, you know, it's like playing a frustrating video game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man,
Yeah.
gotta do it. Never give up. I say never give up to everybody. I tag it and everything on Twitter. And like, I can't say that and not do this. So, you know, I gotta be what I say. You know, like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Not easy, but I'm doing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. It takes a lot of hours. I didn't realize exactly how I haven't done the amount of production that you've done, but yeah, I didn't realize how long it was gonna take. So yeah, I again loved the movie.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad
thanks for this interview,
comes
man.
out on DVD. Thank you so much for it.
Thanks a lot
For getting us
It's been
here
awesome.
at William Street Theater.
Yeah, thanks for Clinton for letting us use this place.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So, is there any plugs, any promos, any advice you'd like to give the viewers?
Never give up. Just keep working at it and you'll get there. Never stop. Just keep believing. Keep believing. That's it, really.
Right.
That's what I live by. I have to. And thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again
Awesome.
so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right. Guys, hit the subscribe button and the like and leave comments down below. See you later.
Now it started talking.
Blood leaves my veins as I stare at my wrist.
Alright, thank you again.
That
was awesome.
Remember making a fist. Look all around and I don't hear a sound. Screaming for help, but there's no one around. Whole world goes black as my body goes numb. Wandering in my race, it's trying to live done. Cause I can't find tomorrow and no yesterday. No, the drugs that I'm done won't numb this pain. If I could just find tomorrow, I could leave it today. Knowing everything is gonna be okay. Came late one night and they took me away. Still don't even know what to say. Tried to lock me up for the rest of my life. Guess that's what I get for trying to leave my wife. Cause you can't find tomorrow and no yesterday. No, the drugs that she's done won't numb her pain. If she could just find tomorrow, she could live it today. Knowing everything is gonna be okay. You got bitch titties. You got titties so big, they got bitches in them.